against our military. They were against our Second Amendment. I stopped spending my money there. I haven't missed it. I mean, the Starbucks I used to go to, I pass by all the time. But it's not like I have this need or desire to pull into that parking lot or go through that drive-through. By the way, I've never gone. Well, yeah, I have gone through a Starbucks drive-through, but it's much better to go inside. But I don't have a need to go there, and I don't know why people have a difficulty not spending their money where they don't think it's doing the most good for their community or for the organizations that they believe in. I'm not a huge fan of boycotts, of these mass boycotts. You know, that's gimmicky. It rarely, if ever, works. However, in the long run, if you and those people that you care about, if you and your friends and family, if you stop patronizing certain businesses that you believe are doing things or supporting organizations that you do not believe in, then over time, they will feel it. They will. It's not like a month-long boycott. It's not like a week-long, a hunger strike or whatever. It's a lifestyle change on your part, not that company's part. You basically have to decide that you're not gonna support them anymore, and by supporting, you're not going to buy their product or service anymore. Plain and simple. You're going to avoid it. Now, I don't buy any Starbucks product anywhere. I don't care if it's at their store, if it's at the gas station, or if it's, the convenience store, or if it's at the grocery store, because Starbucks has their coffee and I think they have ice cream now too, Starbucks coffee. It's pretty similar with Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Look, I love me some Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I have not purchased a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream in about 3.5 years. Because I heard that Ben & Jerry, one of the co-founders, who still gets a lot of money, he's worth billions of dollars because of Ben & Jerry's, and he still gets his dividends and everything from Ben & Jerry's. Again, another person who's against our military and against the Second Amendment rights. I'm not going to support him. There are other products out there that I can substitute for Ben & Jerry's. Hell, I can make my own ice cream, and I might add, I make some very good French vanilla bean ice cream with fresh strawberries. Absolutely delish. Now, it's not Ben & Jerry's, brownie, chocolate fudge brownie. It's not Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia. What is it? Napoleon Dynamite, I think, is their Neapolitan version. It's my two favorite Ben & Jerry's ice creams flavors together. I haven't bought it in 3.5 years because I refuse to give my money to an organization that is going to support organizations that are diametrically opposed to what I believe in. And that would be, that's. I know it's a lot more difficult when you're talking about nations. It's a lot more difficult for people to purchase, say, buy all American, because sometimes it's even with the internet. Sometimes it's hard to find certain products that are manufactured here in this country, which is unfortunate. But it does behoove us to look for products that aren't made in China whenever possible. I mean, again, why support a country and their economies that are going to use that money to build up their military to face off against us someday? And this is why I don't understand people who love Apple, including Rush. Rush is a huge Apple fan. I'm like, how? Maybe it is a very good product in general, but some of their products are made in Chinese factories. Now, I don't know how that benefits the United States. It doesn't. Because it's not as if, the Apple products are cheaper because they're made in China. Oh, no, they're not. Speaking of, pricing and making a profit, Apple products are grossly overpriced in my book. And they're making huge. Apple is, in the top 5 most valuable companies on the planet. I mean, they were number one for a while. I don't know if they still are, but they were the most valuable company on the planet at one point. And they may still be. And you don't get there by, playing the cutthroat price game, that's for sure. But you do get there by making huge profits on the products that you sell. And again, Apple doesn't sell as many computers as other computer companies. They do corner the market on the iPod, and they do have a significant share of the of the tablet market with the iPad, and they have a significant share with the cell phone market with the iPhone. But when it gets right down to it, what they don't have is the iCare, which I don't care. So, yes, I have an iPad Mini. I didn't buy it. It was given to me as a gift, and I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. But it was given to me as a gift. What am I going to? No, I'm not going to accept your gift because it's an iPhone. It's an iPad from Apple. No, that would be a little bit rude. But at the same time, we should all be looking at other types of tablets. Now, I don't know. Maybe there are. I don't know of any tablets that's actually manufactured in the USA. I don't even think was it the Amazon Fire? I don't think that's made here. I could be wrong. I haven't looked up where all the tablets are made and manufactured, but I do know that the iPads are manufactured in China. Now, with China's history of deplorable working conditions and deplorable salaries, why is it that the left find Apple to be such a wonderful company? That is an interesting question. One that liberals cannot answer. If you remember the Occupy Wall Street takeovers across the country, was it the Apple phone, the iPhone 4 or 5 came out at the time? And those nut jobs are standing in line to get an iPhone, and while they were disparaging and dumping on corporate America, but for some reason, Apple was okay, and Apple was the most expensive phone based on what it was in the market. But yeah, they went over to it. But it's just the hypocrisy. They cannot seem to put their actions where their mouth is, which, although it was a stupid move, you can kind of say at least Starbucks tried. It was a very poor attempt and a very poor try, but at least they tried. Where most others, they don't even try. They just want to, they tell you what's a good thing to do, and they tell you what they think that you should believe, but they don't follow their own preaching, their own mantra. At least this time, Starbucks at least attempted. But again, it was still very hypocritical. Because they themselves were not practicing what they preached. But here in this story, we have from the Washington Times, Starbucks to open a store in Ferguson to create employment. Now, don't get me, there's nothing wrong with working at, getting a job, even at Starbucks. Nothing wrong with it. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz isn't backing down from the spirit of the company's widely mocked Race Together campaign. A new store will open in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, Mr. Schultz said earlier this week on Tuesday that the new store in the St. Louis suburb, which was turned upside down by the shooting death of Michael Brown, was a way to create employment. It's a way to create employment. Yeah, opening a store is a way to create employment. But notice he doesn't say, and he doesn't say in the article, it's a way to create employment for the poor folk in Ferguson. He just says this is just a way to create an employment. So I don't know who his employees are going to end up being. I don't know if it's going to be the black and Latino kid off the street. Teach them how to be a good barista and how to give good customer service, or if he's going to import them from, St. Louis itself. That would be interesting. And trust me, this happens a lot in the inner city. You'll get a large company, corporation, will move into a neighborhood, a commercial district inside an urban minority neighborhood or community. And you walk into the store, and it's really quite striking the difference inside the store versus outside. Now, I've noticed this a number of times in some what we call urban communities. Now, communities that are vast majority populated by blacks and Latinos. So, in other words, the skin color on the street is rather dark. And then you walk in the store, and the employee skin color is rather light. Now, I'm wondering if this is the same thing that's going to happen with Starbucks. I don't know, but we will see. Now, the U.S. Justice Department and a St. Louis County grand jury both decided not to pursue charges against the former police officer. We know that. I don't know why they have to include it in the story. But a timeline for the new Ferguson Starbucks store was not given. So in other words, they're saying that they're going to do it, but you got to wonder if they're actually going to do it. Are they actually? It's one thing to talk, but liberals like to talk a lot. They say a lot and mean nothing. So the question is, are they really going to put forth what they say and make it a reality, or are they going to, are they going to come up with some excuse? Now, my money is that if the store doesn't open, they're going to come up with the excuse that, we couldn't find a proper location. Because that's always the best excuse. No, nobody can fault you for not finding a location suitable for your business where you think you're actually going to make money, because actually you want to make money. I mean, that's the whole point of opening a business. Nobody's going to fault you for that. But I think that is going to be one of their excuses for not actually opening a store. We couldn't find a location, because they're going to have to build out the store, obviously. Starbucks, they're probably going to say they wanted a drive-through, and there won't be a location that will be accessible for a drive-through. I mean, and this will come, but people will be scratching their heads and thinking, well, there's a lot of businesses that were kind of destroyed in the Ferguson riot, so there's should be plenty of land available, to build from the ground up. But I bet you that if they do not open the store, that'll be their excuse. And we won't hear about it in the lamestream media, because this story, it's a story now, but it'll die. Tomorrow people will forget about it. In 6 months, people will think, well, Starbucks wanted to open a Ferguson store? Really? When did they say that? I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Because that's the way these things always work. I would like to be a fly on the wall in the corporate offices and their planning to see if there actually is a plan in the works for a Ferguson store, or did their marketing and publicity department come up with this scam or scheme? I'm sorry, scheme. Did I say scam? No, scheme. But it is what it is. And it ain't what it ain't. And it's probably not what it should be. But this is the case with Starbucks and many liberal organizations, by the way. They just do not know how to put their money and their actions where their mouth is. They never really learned how. But then again, to them, it's not what you do that really counts. Because to them, all it is about, we think or we feel this way. It's all about the feeling, not the doing. That's the liberal mantra.